completely unrelated to this video, but I just got a haircut and I'm so fucking cute. You can't tell me shit in this haircut. And I'm also gonna dye it purple, so I'm gonna be like the bad bitch I've always aspired to be. Anyway, Dance Academy is one of the best TV shows, especially for adolescents, specifically like teenagers, younger teenagers. I mean, it could be for like any country or whatever, but it's very Australian and I love that. Obviously, anyone that was pretty much between the ages of like 10 and 16 or thereabouts between 2010 and 2013 was in love with this show, especially people who danced. I am not a dancer, never was, never will be. That's just not my life, but it made me think I could be a dancer even though I had zero training. I cannot dance. Like when I'm at the club, I just kind of like move my arms and hope for the best, and I wonder why I'm single, because I don't got the moves, dude. This show was perfect because one, they had a really cute cast, which for young teenagers is always nice. People like attractive things. It spoke about real life issues in a relatively kid-friendly way. It spoke about a lot of themes surrounding like adolescence, just being like an awkward teenager or preteen. Friendship was a major theme. These people had like the most amazing friendship, and I just really wanted that. General like first love and first kiss and all that kind of stuff. But it also spoke about very serious issues such as financial troubles, especially with Tara, and how she was very close to withdrawing herself from the National Academy of Dance because her parents couldn't afford it. But luckily she got a scholarship. Also with Sammy, when his dad cuts him off and he has to work like 40 hours a week as a dish pig / waiter, so then he could afford to like eat food and pay his tuition fees, which were expensive because this is like right at Sydney Harbour, so it's gonna be expensive. Parental issues with Kat and her mom, and how like her parents are dancers. Well, her mom's a dancer, the dad is a choreographer, so they're like never really around, so she doesn't have that kind of stability in her life. Sammy and his dad, because his dad has like really high expectations of him to be a doctor, but Sammy really wants to pursue his dream of being a dancer. We also have Christian and his parents. His mom passed away shortly before he went to the academy, and his dad split on them when Christian was young. And also Grace feeling abandoned by her dad because he lives in London. Grace was palmed off to Sydney to be in the National Academy. I don't know, like the dad was just never around. He'd occasionally book plane tickets to pretend like he was going to see her, but then never did. There was an attempted sexual assault at Kat's 16th birthday party by her boyfriend. She was very drunk and not into it, but he persisted until Kat pushed him off and Christian interrupted. Also the theme of sexuality, such as Sammy and Ollie. More specifically, we see through Sammy him coming to terms with the fact that he's into boys as well as girls. Ollie being gay, Sammy and Ollie being in a relationship. It was cute for like 2 seconds, but Ollie's so toxic. I didn't really like him. Not until like the end-ish, I guess. But the actor that plays him, Keenan Lonsdale, I think. I pronounced that so wrong, I'm so sorry, but he is great. We also had like Christian giving advice to Samuel about like what to do like during the first time, and like if it feels wrong then it's probably not the best thing to do. Kat giving advice to Tara about first time as well. We have death with Sammy's death. I did not cry during Sammy's death. I definitely did not cry during Sammy's death. And we also have the theme of eating disorders, especially with Kat and Abigail. Abigail more in season 1 and Kat more so in season 3. I'll just go through like a play-by-play of majority of the characters. I think the only main character I left out was Ollie, because he's basically just like the male version of Abigail, and to me he didn't really have much depth. That's just me. First we have Miss Rain. I only have like 2 notes on her. She's in the start kind of presented as like a stone cold, like strict ballet teacher. She calls Abigail a sack of potatoes, which yikes, especially since Abigail was going through her own eating disorder. But she's given more depth and heart due to her relationship with Grace, who is her goddaughter, and how she gives advice to Tara on dancing. First when Tara plays Clara at the end of season 1, and during a company audition at the end of season 3. Next we have Kat. Personally, she's my favorite character. I mean, she's blonde, so I relate to her. I had a major crush on her growing up, which tells you pretty much everything you need to know about me. And I have a crush on current day her, like, are you kidding me? She's a very loyal friend. I just liked her. I don't know. She was kind of like cool and quirky and edgy, but she was also like really nice and was always there for her friends when they needed her. In season 3, she starts to develop bulimia because of the heartbreak that she went through due to Sammy's death. Like, Kat and Sammy were extremely close. She's just trying to fill a hole in her heart. She also follows Sammy's killer around. It was like a hit and run freak accident kind of thing, but she wants to see what kind of person he is, and it doesn't help with her eating disorder either, because she at first has this hatred for him, but then at the end of that episode where she's following him around, realizes that he is just a human being who made this one fatal mistake. Next we have Ethan. Ethan is Kat's older brother. He's the attractive third year. That's it. That's his character. Then we have Christian. He's like the bad boy from like the wrong side of the tracks. Was there a delivery for me? Ooh, is there a delivery for me? Just after the auditions of the dance academy, he robs a servo with his friends, and this is due to him just being in the wrong crowd. He didn't know it was going to be as bad as it was. He just needed money. He auditioned for the academy in the first place because his mum would have wanted him to, and she passed away just shortly before he auditioned. Just like Kat, he's very loyal to his friends. He and Kat are just very similar in that sense. He spends the entire series proving everyone wrong because at first people just think that he was like a sympathy vote or whatever to get into the academy, but he tries to prove himself that he's a better person and that he's actually a good dancer. He gets a contract with the company, but decides not to take that contract because he has finally figured out that he wants to be a teacher with the ballet school, which is very fitting for him because he's a good teacher and he's really good with kids. And we have Abigail. She's like the classic like high school mean girl character. Like, she has, I think, anorexia, or she had anorexia in season 1. She also has this deep need to control everything in her life, which is like one part of like eating disorders. Like, a lot of people with eating disorders have like a need to control things. Like in season 1 specifically, she is very self-conscious about her body and like the fact that it's developing and stuff. She misses classes because she refuses to like take off her like crossover cardigan thing, which is very unlike her because like she lives, loves, breathes dancing. She doesn't like looking at herself in the mirror at all, even if it's a regular mirror or like the crazy mirror that was at Luna Park when she went there with the amigos. During a dance exam, she faints because she hasn't eaten anything for days pretty much, and this like forces her to go to therapy and miss out on dancing classes, which was hard for her at first, but she eventually gets better, which is good to see, because underneath that tough exterior, she actually has feelings and has a good heart. She ends up dating Sammy for a little bit. They're like one of my favorite couples. Actually, they're probably my favorite couple just because they work really well together. And this also shows some humanity in Abigail to begin with. Bye, delivery truck. We will miss you. She goes through a lot in the series. Like, her parents separate. I think they end up getting back together again. Eating disorder. She goes through a lot, dealing with Sammy's death, all that kind of stuff, and just feeling like she's not gonna get into the company because of her insecurity and because she thinks she's like too short or whatever. But then she ends up getting in the company, which is so rewarding because of everything that she's gone through, like all the BS she had to go through during that time. Next we have Tara, probably my least favorite character. She's so annoying. She's obsessed with Ethan, Kat's brother, and keeps on talking to Kat about her crush on Ethan, even though Kat on multiple occasions said, I don't want to hear it, you're gonna get hurt and I'm not gonna be there for you to like comfort you after he leaves you. Alright, so there's a member of the company. His name is Damien Lang, and he and Tara are from the same hometown, and people see Tara talking to Damien and they think, oh, they might be dating, and she lets these rumors continue even though it's not true that they're dating because he's like a grown man and she's 16. So that would have been gross if it went on, and it got Damien in a lot of trouble because the rumors ended up going to the teachers, which ended up going to like the principal of the academy. It could have ruined Damien's career. She's very like hypocritical in the sense that she gets mad at Kat for having feelings with Christian, who is Tara's ex, even though they never actually dated. And that just makes me mad because Tara went out with Ethan even though Kat said like, don't say I didn't warn you, you're gonna get hurt. I don't want you to, you know, talk about your feelings with him in front of me because it's weird. So there's like a backstory with Christian and how he doesn't have a relationship with his dad. So Tara's like, he has, you know, like trust issues or whatever, so I'm going to take it upon myself to try and find his dad, without like thinking that there might be a valid reason as to why they don't have a relationship. Like eventually Christian and his dad end up sorting things out, but that's not the point. Even though I don't like Tara, I still feel bad for her. Like, her idol, Saskia Duncan, who was a principal dancer in the company, she injured herself while performing and then ended up being a teacher at the academy while her injuries were like getting fixed. And Saskia was a really bad teacher, just morally. She broke Tara's back while like stretching her leg, even though Tara told her to stop. It like broke her back. And then she refractures it at the end of season 3. Oh, by the way, I'm not going to be talking about the movie because I have not seen it. I don't know if I want to see it because I feel like I might just get disappointed because, I don't know, like, I thought Dance Academy ended well and Grace isn't in the movie and she's one of my favorite characters. So next we have Sammy. He is the golden boy. He's like everyone's best friend. He's just so sweet and he deserved better. R.I.P. Sammy. I didn't realize how like gut-wrenching his death was, because when I first watched it when I was a kid, I didn't cry or anything. Like, I was sad, but I didn't cry. I think it's because I didn't have emotions back then, but now, due to the medication I'm taking, I'm much more sensitive. I fucking bawled my eyes out for like the entire episode of his like memorial, and when Ben takes his spot at the Prix de Fontaine, he like does a tribute dance for Sammy. That shit had me bawling, dude. Another point against Tara, She calls Ben selfish for considering taking Sammy's spot in the Prix de Fontaine because Sammy was gonna perform in the Prix de Fontaine and then he died and Ben came third in the competition, so it just makes sense that he'd be bumped up. And it's like, dude, like if Ben didn't take that spot, someone else would have. Like, come on, use your brain. Anyway, I related a lot to Sammy, especially when I was younger because I was dealing with my own sexual identity crisis. Still kind of am, but that's a different topic for another day. I just related a lot to like him developing a crush on his best friend and like not being able to do anything about it. Like, I think every queer person can relate to that. So his sexuality is foreshadowed like a couple episodes before he like actually comes out or whatever. So there's an episode where like the local football team or whatever come to the academy to like work on their teamwork or whatever. I don't really remember. But anyway, one of the football guys asks Sammy out on a date. Instead of Sammy saying like, I'm not interested, I don't swing that way, etc., he just says that he's not available because he was kind of seeing Abigail at the time. Next we have Ben. He's introduced in season 2 along with Grace. He starts out being like this super annoying, kind of like pushy character. He's like really rude to everyone, like basically calls Tara fat and like low-key racist towards Christian at first. I don't know if it was meant to be racist, but anyway, he says like, did you do martial arts before dancing? I knew a guy who did that who looked a lot like you. And then he also says that it's gay that Sammy has cucumber on his sandwich. Like, okay. Sammy calls him out on this BS though, which, great. I don't know if it was intended to be offensive in any way, but during that time it was very common to like call things gay, like, oh, your pencil case is gay, you know? It was just something he said back then, and I don't think it was intended to be like homophobic. I don't think it was intended for him to be racist or whatever, because we don't see that in his actions during the rest of the season. So he kind of like puts on this front that he's like this goofy kid who's never really been through anything, but we realize that he's a cancer survivor and he's been through a lot in his little life. I understand why he didn't want to tell anyone, because it's like anyone that's been through like a tragedy, illness, whatever. I can only speak for myself. I hate that sympathy, like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't know, I just hate it, because I feel like people would look at you differently, and they did look at Ben differently when people found out that he was a cancer survivor. So he starts out being annoying or whatever, but then turns out to be this really sweet, wholesome boy. Apparently he was meant to die instead of Sammy. I would have preferred that, but it wouldn't have had as much of an emotional impact, so I do get it. Another thing about Tara, why is everyone in love with her? I don't see it. She's a pretty lady, for sure. She's so annoying, I don't get it. Lastly, we have Grace, one of the most interesting characters, in my opinion. She's such a massive troublemaker, like she's Abigail times 100. Like, she loves to sabotage everyone's lives. And it's so fun to watch, even though at times I fucking hated her. It was still really fun because it spiced things up. She's low-key an attention seeker. I think she just wants people to notice her. She realizes that Abigail has a crush on Ethan, so she kisses Ethan. She makes Abigail seem like a bad person because she breaks all of her own point shoes and Tara's point shoes to make it seem like Abigail broke the point shoes. She tried to kiss Zach, who is her teacher, and then flips the story when telling Tara that Zach kissed her, which did not happen. And luckily, like, people realized, like Miss Rain and Zach realized that like she needs help and that they should give her another chance. Yeah, I don't know, because like no one in their right mind would kind of do something like that. She was probably just wanting attention or something. I don't know. So then Tara tells Miss Rain about the situation and says that she's worried about Grace, which makes sense, but Grace considers it a friend betrayal, which I disagree with, because I think she was looking out for Grace and realized that something didn't quite fit and she just wanted Grace to be well. Grace knows how much the Red Shoes dance solo or whatever means to Tara, and Grace decides to do it in the Prix de Fontaine to watch Tara suffer and just like watch her face just drop. In the show, she's kind of presented as like a, I don't want to say sociopath, but like someone that doesn't really have like many feelings. Like she's presented to be manipulative and that she doesn't show like a genuine human emotion, but there are like small complexities to her character, such as her mum's depression and the fact that she might have depression too and wants to understand her mum because she never really knew her, because I think she committed suicide when Grace was young. She also cries during Tara's Red Shoes performance, showing that she actually does have genuine emotion. Like she wants to know her mom in order to understand herself. The third years are going on tour to perform Romeo and Juliet or whatever, and she watches her mum's rendition of it to try and understand her, not only as a dancer but as a person. One of my favorite sabotages that she does is at the company has a dance and Grace has just been kicked out of the company because she's been replaced by someone else. She sabotages the dance by like messing with Tara's heat cream. I don't know exactly what she did, but all the dancers basically are like burning up and have like rashes and stuff. So she definitely did something, and it just sabotages the entire night and performance. And it's just fun watching her be like, oh, what, you thought it was me, but I've changed. On that note, that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching. I love this show to death. I will probably rewatch it at some point. I might even watch the movie if I get bored enough. I don't know. Thank you for being here. Stay safe, look after yourself, drink some water, especially if you live in Australia because it's fucking scorching at the moment. And I will see you later. Bye.